Donald Trump pretty much shut down the briefing and ran out of the room when a serious question about testing finally got asked. The specifics of how many millions of tests do we need in order for the country to be able to get back into some kind of working relationship with jobs, with students. The point that Joe Biden made, which is the way out of this is a massive amount of testing so we can tell where we are with the pandemic. What was your reaction to that big omission in the White House presentation today, where they basically said testing has nothing to do with us?
Well, Lawrence, I think they left out all metrics. It's not just They didn't talk about testing. They didn't give you anything empirical, anything at all. This report basically was a PowerPoint presentation of a pile of slides stuck in between paper. And the slides told you basically one thing that came through loud and clear. The federal government is not doing this. You personally are responsible. You employers are responsible. You states are responsible. Hey, you want to know how many people to test, when to test them, what kind of test, antibody or PCR, what should be the nature of the testing? Should you come up with strategic testing where you're targeting key population groups as indicators, or should you just randomly test just everybody in a Walmart parking lot, as was the original scheme? There's nothing in there that answers any of those questions.